Tipografia is a digital publishing tool that takes your ideas to a wide variety of distribution channels, such as the web, desktop software, and mobile apps. This versatility opens up many possibilities for your content. In this video, we'll explore a digital poetry experiment that, from an informal gathering of friends, quickly became part of an experimental publishing exhibition. Our story begins in May 2026, when some friends gathered in the interior of Brazil, in the city of Entre Rios de Minas, at an event they named First Abiaca Seminar, on the Brumado farm, owned by Álvaro Andrade Garcia, a well-known author of poetry and pioneer in digital artistic production. Over the weekend, several ideas emerged, and among them, a set of digital poems called Caletroscópio stood out. From a series of poetic content, various interactions were imagined using cameras. These poems were mainly worked on by Chico Marinho and Rogério Barbosa, two other pioneers and prominent figures in the production of literature, digital or otherwise. If you want to know more about them, take a look at the description of this video, okay? And while this production was happening, Álvaro Garcia was expanding the Sitio da Imaginação, Imagination site, a pioneering digital poetic work, which is currently published on the web using our beloved Tipografia. It was 3 days of hard work, many ideas, and lots of fun. In the end, a series of new and improved pieces of content had been created. A little over a week later, the invitation arrived. The Faísca Festival, a traditional showcase of experimental publications, would soon take place, with space for a wide variety of media, from paper to digital, and Caletroscópio fit perfectly into the concept. And then a question arose: how to bring together the 6 different interactions that make up this production, all created using the P5.js tool, into a work that could be exhibited for a period of time without the presence of its creators to explain it. And in such a short time? Oh, and if you don't know P5.js, you should look it up immediately because it's a really cool idea. One adaptation made to all the interactions was the inclusion of a very short line at the bottom of the screen, explaining how each one works when the installation's camera doesn't detect any hands interacting. This was sufficient for a quick understanding of each one. The question now was how to bring them all together into a single final product that could be easily installed on a computer. The answer was already there. All that was needed was to use Tipografia to create a single publication that alternates between all the interactions of Caletroscópio, keeping each one active for a while and then moving on to the next. With this, they would all be grouped into a single movie, which is what we call projects in Tipografia, that, using the program's exporter, could create an executable for the computer used for the display, regardless of its operating system, whether Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. The process in Tipografia was simple, making use of the functionality to import content created in other programs. First, a movie was created for a horizontal screen format. Next, each of the Caletroscópio interactions was imported. To do this, all the content of each one was compressed into a zip file and imported separately. In addition to the 6 works, a short introduction for validating the installation was also created using P5.js. At this point, the first scene was created to house the introductory screen. To display the content imported from P5.js, it was enough to go to the Scene Start Actions, look for the System Actions group and create a block with the action, open an HTML5 embed content. For this action, we used as a parameter the name we gave to the introductory interaction at the time of import. This action will cause this content to be displayed as soon as the scene is opened. Still within the scene's initial actions, we added another block. From the Timers group, we chose Set a Timer. As parameters for the block, we gave the timer a name, set the time as 45,045 seconds, and indicated that it should only be executed once. Expanding the created block, in at end, we added a new action from the Movie and Scene Handling group. Navigate to a scene, and selected Navigate Right as a parameter. This will cause the next scene to load after 45 seconds. After publishing the scene, we made a copy and swapped the start action information to load the first interaction instead of the introduction. We repeated this process for the entire Caletroscópio. Once all the scenes were ready, 7 in total, one last adjustment was needed. In the movie menu, we went to Navigation Sequences and created a sequence of scenes containing all the interactions. This way, Tilbury always knows what the next scene is. With that, all that was left was to add an icon and a description for our movie, and it was ready. Now all that was left was to test it, and after that, go to the Exchange menu in Tilbury and generate an export for computers. This process created a zip file with the project. The zip file comes with the entire project and instructions needed to generate the application for the system you want. In the case of the festival exhibition, the computer used would be a Windows one, so on that system, the configuration and app generation scripts were executed, which created a folder containing the executable Caletroscópio.exe. Almost everything was ready to take the Caletroscópio to the exhibition. Setting up an exhibition involves more than just creating the content, and in this case, how would the computer, projector, and camera for interaction be installed? That's where the skills of multi-artist Chico Marinho came to the rescue. He designed and built a small piece of furniture capable of meeting this need. This furniture had space for the computer, which was programmed to start by opening the program exported by Tilbury, a compartment for the projector and camera mount, as well as provisions for cable routing and cooling. With the furniture ready, it was time to take everything to the exhibition venue. Assembly was simple, and after a few tests, everything was working. All that remained was to enjoy and observe the visitors' reactions to the Caletroscópio and all the other works, digital or otherwise, presented at the FSC Festival.